the special guest before we dig into some nitty gritty kind of things first. Melissa, are you here? Melissa.
Okay, how are you doing?
I'm good. I know it's super early for you, maybe.
It's all right. I'm usually an early riser.
Yeah, good, good. Yeah. So, it, yeah. So you basically doesn't mind to go up early then. So
No, it's not too bad. Not too bad. Sounds
good.
like it's late where you are, though. You're going to be tired by the end of this.
Yeah, I actually had a quick nap before, so
That's smart.
yeah. But I wanted to have you here to share some just telling your story, telling where when you started and how far you come because I know that you tested some other things before, some other strategies, and then you like we show you the Google PPC strategy, and you got fairly good results after a couple of months, right?
Yes, yeah. Well, I have like a little bit of a PowerPoint if you want me to
Oh yeah,
go into that.
absolutely. Go ahead, share your screen.
Yeah.
Let's dig into it.
Okay. All right. All right. So let me figure this out. Can everybody see that?
Oh yeah, we can see it.
Okay, no, good. Oh, I lost something. Hold on. Cool. No, that's all good. Yeah, so this is my husband Bernardo. Most people call him Bernie, and my little wild dog Lucky. So I just thought I'd put a little picture about that. But yeah, so look, some of you might have heard kind of my background and things like that, but for those of you that haven't, look, I ran a mortgage broking business with a business partner for about 7 years. So and before that, I was always in kind of banking and finance and that sort of thing. So that was kind of my whole life. When we started the mortgage broking business, it was kind of just the two of us and like one support staff, but things just got crazy. It grew really fast. We ended up having lots of staff and lots of clients. And honestly, I was working all the time, like long hours, 6 days a week. I was probably working 60 hours a week. And I just got stressed and burnt out. And I went on and on like that for a year, the last few years of the business. And it actually was in COVID. It was in a COVID lockdown that we had on our side of the world where I just was sitting there and going, and me and my husband were talking and going like, is this what we really want to be doing for the rest of our lives? When's the last time we had any fun? Like all I do is work. So anyway, so it was a really tough decision, but I decided to exit the business. And then we obviously had to figure out what was next. I'm from the States originally in Minnesota. My husband's from Brazil. So we also wanted location freedom so we could go home and see our families a lot more often. So yeah, that's kind of where we landed on online business and then kind of introduced to Launch You.
Awesome.
Yeah. So sorry, I'm just going to go to the next one. So I thought I'd just kind of show a little bit of my timeline because it's hard for me to believe. Like it's just been an absolute crazy journey. But yeah, so I started the Launchpad training at the end of March of 2023, so last year. And then pretty quickly after, I knew that I wanted that kind of one-on-one. So went on to the Gold Accelerate With You coaching, probably the beginning of April. So went through that, spent 3 to 4 months kind of just going through the training, building the website, systems, that sort of thing. And then in July, I got my first sale. So that was like, yay. Anybody that's had their first sale knows how exciting that feels. But unfortunately, that was not my winning article. I'll get to how many failed articles or ads in general I had. But then October hit, and that's when I knew that this ad was different. I think I kind of knew in September, but in October, it just went wild. So I had my first kind of 5-figure month, and you hear about people having that, and but it's pretty surreal having it yourself. And I was happy with just that, but oh my gosh, since then it's just gone even more crazy. So yeah, so in January I doubled those figures, and this month, like, I mean, I can't even believe it, like looking at it. But yeah, as of yesterday, I was already at about 45,000 in gross commission. So
That's
my
amazing.
mind's blown. My mind's
Oh
blown.
yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Amazing journey.
Yeah, yeah.
In less than a week. Right?
Go ahead. What?
Yeah, less than a year.
I know, less than it. Like, it's beyond what I even expected. Most businesses take a couple years. You know what I mean? Like, I know I've ran a business before. You know that like business doesn't happen overnight. So the fact that yeah, but I wouldn't have been able to do it without the training. I had no clue what I was doing when I started. I don't know how many sessions I had with you, Martin, with my tech skills and my oh, look at my art. What am I doing wrong with my article and everything? Like, but yeah, it's just that, it's been good.
Yeah.
So look, so I'm just gonna kind of get into my article stuff, if that's all right. Like
Yeah, of
just
course,
my
of
article
course.
reading it. Yeah. Um, so look, I'll kind of tell you. So both me and my husband in the beginning were actually kind of working on this together. So we started with doing videos. I think a lot of people start with that. And he actually had some good traction with his. Had some good traction with a couple of his Facebook ads, but mine bombed. Mine were not good at all. So yeah, we did the videos. Those didn't really end up working out, and I kind of just felt like it wasn't really for me. So that's kind of where I went into learning that article strategy. So I wrote several different articles on different topics. But look, I think like they were all really informative. I feel like I put them together fine, but really they were just getting a few sales, and ultimately I had to end up turning them off because like the lead cost or the cost per modern wealthy just got too high. So I'd have to shut it down, redo it and put it back out. So I did that so many times. And because I just wasn't understanding what wasn't working, even though looking back, I feel like I was being told, and but maybe it just wasn't getting through my brain. But yeah, so I had over 10 failed ads before things started, working. So what changed for me really? So look, everything changed when I actually started getting personal. So when I started telling my personal story, so because I thought to myself, my avatar is really me. And, if any of you have access to that Influence Mastery Summit that Justin Wolf did, like going into those stories and hero's journey, and really the message is the most important part. It's just the same as when you're doing videos, is when you're doing articles, is getting that personal, getting them to feel something. Because you can have all the information you want, and that can be, oh sweet, that was a great article, but I think what makes them click and is that connection to you, and them feeling like, oh, I've been through that as well. So yeah, so that's kind of when things changed. Also, I've started putting them at ease with common hesitations. Like a lot of people are worried, oh, yeah, this sounds great, but I don't have any tech skills, or I'm not an influencer or whatever. So just putting that kind of stuff in your articles helpful. So then they're reading it and they're kind of thinking that in the back of their head. And then all of a sudden you go, oh no, but you don't have to have tech skills, because you don't. Like, and stuff like that. And then obviously leading them to the program. So that's kind of where things changed for me. So I just thought I'd put some snips in of kind of some of the changes that I made. So look, that's kind of my about me or about the author. That's kind of where I go in. That's the big change that I put in my article, and also putting it at the beginning of the article. So a lot of people put the about me or about the author at the end. So when I put it at the beginning, I think more people read it, and that's really when I started getting a lot more sales. Also, those call to action buttons, like making them quite bright and stand out, I think is important. Like if it's kind of small or doesn't really stand out, I think people tend to miss it. So my article's quite long, so I've got 3 to 4. I think I've got 4 in mine. But I would say, I'm not sure what you think, Martin, but I would say kind of minimum of 3, and make sure you have 1 in the beginning, and then kind of maybe the middle, and then definitely 1 at the end. But yeah, so just making sure they're kind of bright and noticeable, and Yeah, and you can do that if you have, I use Convertry, so and I think there was a template or something. Because I don't know how to build the button.
I'm actually going to show some really cool stuff today on that.
Okay, cool. And then one other thing I always I've thought about that I didn't really think. I thought when writing articles, people would be reading them on a computer for some reason, but almost everybody reads. Like when I look at my Google Analytics or my Google Ads account, they all read it from their phone, and it can actually look quite different on your phone than what you're seeing when you're building it if you're building it on a computer screen. So in Convertry, there's actually a mobile little like a viewing of the mobile that you can look at. But I even like to publish it and look at it on my actual phone because I can go, oh, the button maybe doesn't look big enough, or this doesn't look right, or that picture isn't. So just a little inside thing is, yeah, just maybe if you're not doing it, that's a good thing to do. So then ad spend. So a lot of people kind of want to go, well, okay, that's what you're earning, but what are you actually spending? So look, obviously, I just like to say you're not going to be, if you look at some of these numbers and go, you're not going to be spending this right away. So all my ads, I started at $10 US a day. So that's just what I did. And I ran them until I had enough data and turned them off or kept them going, depending on how they were doing. So look, October was kind of the first month I had quite a big month. So that month I had quite a good profit. So I only spent that month about 2,800. So what I would do is just kind of take the profit at the end of the month and use that to increase my budget. So then I didn't have to be, pushing a lot of money into that. It was like just kind of using some of it. So then November, I obviously upped my budget. So spent a bit more. December, and then January. Yeah. So, but really looking in the profit margins are still
They're
incredible
great.
to the ad spend, really.
They are really great, like profit margins. So
yeah,
and
it's been really
this is the
surprising.
thing. A lot of people are like staring there on the big numbers, like 7 grand, 8 grand. Oh, I can never afford. But no, you never start there. You always start small. You start with testing your articles on low scale budget, or a low budget. And this is something we go through in the training we did last year, right? So this is always something we need to protect our financial or our money in the beginning, so we can actually focus on the right winning strategy, and then we scale. And that's what you're doing
Yeah.
here.
100%, 100%. Yeah, because if someone told me I had to put $8,000 into ads, I would be like, no way.